there quilting friends, it's Carolina Moore, your favorite sewing and quilting YouTuber, and today we're doing day 3 of the Mini Quilt Advent. If you haven't opened your envelope yet today, make sure that you do that now because we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I've already taken the paper off my template. I couldn't help myself, but we're gonna go ahead and get into the fabric that we need for our 3-inch equilateral triangle shape that is our day 3 shape. We're going to be doing a little more sewing today. So those of you who missed sewing the last 2 days, you'll get a little more of your sewing fix in today. We're going to be cutting one triangle from fabric 1 and 3 triangles from fabric 2. So I picked a dark and a light for my fabric 1 and fabric 2. And then we need 1 fabric from fabric 3 and 3 triangles from fabric 4. So these are our fabrics for today. Our triangles are going to be going in all different directions, so that's going to make it interesting for cutting. We'll see if I manage to cut everything in the right direction this time. If not, we'll just go ahead and recut, and that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to start with, this is actually my fabric 2, so we'll do this in the right order. We'll start with fabric 1. This is a really fun print. It's not directional and it's not a scatter, it's like a pattern. So we're gonna go ahead and take this and I'm gonna cut this from the corner. I don't want to, do I care how many stars I get in there? Like, do I care if these are all down the middle? Do I care if, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, now that I've given myself that question, I think I care a little bit. We're fussy cutting everything else. Why not just go ahead and fussy cut this one as well? We're going to cut it like this. Okay. You don't have to get fussy with everything, I promise. You can get as fussy or as not fussy with your fabrics as you like because this is your quilt. You get to make it however you want. I'm showing you how I'm making mine as inspiration. Lots of people make theirs different, and that's totally fine. In fact, I love when people send me pictures of the way that they've done theirs and the fabrics that they've chosen. Okay, so that is number 1. I also love it when they send me pictures of that they've done exactly what I've done and that they love it. Like, that's also great. Okay, so fabric 2, we need 3. Now this is a directional fabric and all of my triangles are gonna be facing up on this one. So I'm gonna turn this over and all my triangles are facing up. I want to get the most I can out of this fabric because when I have scraps, I want my scraps to be as big as possible to use them for other projects. I'm not going to be too worried about the fussy cutting on this one. There's 1. Let's see, I want them all straight up and down. So we'll just cut them right across the bottom, I suppose. Because if I were to cut another one upside down right here, then those words would be upside down in my finished block, and I might be okay with that. In this case, I'm trying to stay directional, so I'm going to try and do this so that they're all facing the right direction. And in this case, I also went with colors that matched what was in the pattern, but I won't always do that for every block. Sometimes I might put a dark where a light is, or a light where a dark is, or a green where a red is, or a red where a green is. That's okay. We can play with our colors compared to the pattern. It doesn't have to be just like the pattern. Okay, now I'm doing the bottom, cutting the bottom half. And so for this one, my triangle is going to be right side up like this. I already love the way that those stockings fit, but let's try a couple other stocking options. Ooh, just the 2 stockings is really fun. I really like that. That one's like 3 stockings. Okay. I'm going to go with this 2 stocking option here, but you choose whichever fussy cut makes you happy. And remember, these lines are our seam lines, so that little bit of red stocking is not going to show up in my finished quilt block. Okay, so this is my dark, and now I need to do all my lights. Fabric 4. So fabric 4 is what we call a scatter print. The print is all over the place. And for this one, I need all of my triangles pointing down, like at me. So if I do this tree, I might want to fussy cut it like this. Yes, the stocking is going to be sideways, and yes, the nutcracker is going to be sideways. If I do this little couple, I don't quite want to do that because I'm going to get into my seam allowance here. It won't be the biggest deal, but I like that though. I'll find that somewhere else in the fabric and cut that one. They're over here. Can I cut it out of this one? All right, a little bit of her feet are getting cut off. Let me pivot this a little more. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to cut that little couple out. This is such a fun print for fussy cutting smaller pieces because there are so many things going on. You'll get all different cuts out of this print. Okay, so I want to actually start laying these down the way that they're going to be in the quilt or on the block. So I have an idea of what this is looking like. Okay. They ended up a little tilted. That's okay. Nutcracker. I like that nutcracker. Ooh, there's a bunch of different nutcrackers. There's several different nutcracker options on here. If I do this one, that tree is sideways. But if I do this one, there's nothing in there. So I'm going to do, let's see, there we go. This is the same one. No, it's not. He's not the same. I don't know. There's so many designs going on here. Okay. I could do 3 different nutcrackers. I could put them aside and do 3 completely different nutcrackers. That would also be a cute option. But I'm going to cut this one. And we've talked before that fussy cutting does make a Swiss cheese of your fabric, and some people consider that wasteful, but you are getting the absolute most out of your fabric because you're getting the exact pieces that you want, and no one's ever going to look at your quilt and go, but look at how much fabric you have left, or look at the Swiss cheese you made. No one's ever going to look at your quilt and see that. They're going to look at your quilt and say, oh my gosh, look at the little selections you made on there. So that's what I love about fussy cutting. Okay, I didn't go the 3 nutcracker route, so I don't think I want to do another nutcracker. I already have a ballerina, although this would have been a cute ballerina, although I don't know how I would have gotten her. Yeah, that would have been a cute one. Okay, I think I want to do this angel over here, though. And we will have more opportunities to fussy cut into this fabric later, so I'm not worried. Okay, this cuts over there. Where do I have this angel again to be able to... Where is the repeat on this fabric? Oh my goodness. Okay, the angel's over there. Where else do I have her? She's over there. Oh, she's over here. Okay, and I want it down. Let me turn my... I need my rotating cutting mat now. Okay. This is such a fun repeat. There we go. And so I'll cut this. Okay. That's all of our cutting. I'm going to set my template aside. I'm going to put my fabric aside. And I'm going to put my block on my cutting mat now that I'm not using it for cutting, and I will need my pressing mat for pressing. Okay, these two both have red in them. This has pink. Do I like the order that I think I do. Do I like the order that those are? This one feels a little more tinted. You know, it's fine. I like the way it is. Okay, so for this, we're actually going to set aside our top and bottom triangles, and we're going to work on making these into a row. And that's really simple to do. We're going to start by sewing 2 of them. So we're going to put these 2 together along the seam that we want to sew. And we're going to sew it regular 1/4 inch seam allowance, just like we always do with everything. Everything in quilting is a 1/4 inch seam allowance unless you've specifically been told otherwise. Okay. So after sewing a seam, I like to double check the seam first, because if I've made a mistake, then I'd rather catch that mistake before pressing. All of these seams we are pressing open. So I'm going to go ahead and press right here. And press from the front. There we go. That's one seam done. Now we're going to do the other one. When we do this other one, now I left my dog ear here. That will allow me to help line this up perfectly. Without the dog ear, I would just be lining up the one side, also fine. Okay, now that I've used that dog ear, I'm just going to trim it off because I don't need that point there. And I'm going to press this open. We can come in and trim any other dog ears, like this one right here. And removing these dog ears just removes any bulk from the fabric. And then this one right here, which makes it lie flatter. Okay, so I have one row done. We're gonna do the exact same with the other side. These 2 together. And sew. Friends, I usually say it at the end, but I want to make sure to add in here now that if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure that you subscribe. And if you haven't already given this video a thumbs up, give it a thumbs up. This allows me to do what I do. I do get a little bit of money from YouTube, a couple $100 a month. It's not a ton, but it is something that helps towards all the things that I do, the free patterns that I offer, the classes, those kinds of things. And lets me spend my time hanging out with you, like I am right now, wherever you're at. Leave me a comment. Let me know where you are at right now. I love hearing from folks and knowing where you are when you are watching these videos. Are you at home? Are you at a friend's house? Are you doing this with a group? I love knowing. Okay, so we've got 2 together. We're going to add the 3rd one on here, and then we'll have our 2 rows. And just like with all of our square and rectangle units that we're used to, we're going to sew our rows together. Quick short little seam, cut my threads on both sides so I don't get crazy thread tails, and then press open. Are you an open presser? Do you like pressing open? I am often a side presser, but I'm becoming more of an open presser. It does give really flat seams. It can be, there's no ability to nest seams when you press them open, but when we're doing equilateral triangles like this, there isn't a lot of nesting seams, so we're not worried about that. I'm cutting all 3 of my little dog ears here, here, and here. And double checking. All right, so now we have our rows, and really here we have 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just because this is just one block or one square or one patch doesn't mean it's not a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can sew these rows together. Because none of the seams overlap or intersect, we can just stitch these together without having to press in between. So I'm going to line this all up. And so. That one's done. Double check. Now I'm going to do the bottom one. Line those up. And because those dog ears are still on there, I'm able to easily line things up. If you cut them off, you just want to eyeball your 1/4 inches. Okay, and I don't need to press these yet. As long as I move those triangles out of the way, I can put these two together. And this is just like yesterday's block, block 2, where we did our top and bottom triangles together. We just have a top and bottom triangle, and these will come together. And I want to line up these, and if I can, I want to line up the center point as best I can. Come here. All right, we'll see how well I did. If I really hate it, I can pick it out and do it again. All right, let's see how I did on that center point. All right, it's like a thread or 2 off on the pink side, but it's pretty perfect on the green side. I'm just gonna call it a win. Before I press this, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use my big sharp scissors here and cut off all of my dog ears. Because I don't need those anymore. And they're just gonna put bulk in my project. I think I got them all. I'm gonna have two more over here when I press this middle seam open. I'll trim those in a second. So finger press your seams open. Come here. You've got, there you go. And then while that iron is just sitting on there, as long as it doesn't shift and burn me, I can start to finger press the other one open. Come here, there we go. This iron, by the way, is an Oliso Mini. I use it in a lot of my videos. I like this little iron. There are lots of really great irons out on the market, little ones, big ones. Oliso came out with a new one that I didn't have in time to be able to use it in these videos. But there is a brand new one that'll also, it's a mini that also stands up. These irons do get really hot though. So right now I have it on a setting 3, but if I were to use this any longer, then I'm gonna have to bring it down to a setting 2 because it does get really warm even on my hand. Okay friends, that's it for day 4. Our block is complete. I think it turned out super cute. We're gonna go ahead and put it with all of our other blocks here on our wall. Oh, you know what? I didn't cut off those little dog ears. Let me do that real quick. So we're gonna chop off these little dog ears here on the corners. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna remind you, make sure you hit that like button, make sure that you are subscribed. I am looking for your comments down below. So let me know how this series is going for you. Are you following along every day? Are you already behind? Which is totally fine, I totally get it. Now we'll get to put this up here. And friends, I will see you right here tomorrow for day 4. Bye for now.